Hey, welcome back. Design an invitation with me. So my sister, one of her staff is having a baby and they're doing a virtual baby shower for her through Teams. And so she asked me to basically do an invitation that she can pretty much email to the other staff about the shower so people can know ahead of time. And also with this invitation, she wanted to add a clickable link to her staff members registry. So as y'all see, I went with a safari theme because they didn't really have a theme for the shower. So I thought safari would be really cute. So I went with safari theme. As y'all see at the beginning, I already had pretty much most of my elements, like my giraffe, my baby lion, a baby elephant, and the safari jeep already there. I chose a blue background. She is having a baby boy. And then also you will see I added like a picture overlay of a map in the background. So right here, I'm just pretty much getting the font and everything, the wording and the text and everything together. I was looking for something to kind of make this wording or the tagline stand out. So I went with a cute little wooden sign. This is the wooden sign I chose. And as y'all see, I'm using Magic Grab to eliminate that background. So if you're ever in Canva trying to eliminate the background, use Magic Grab. I'm telling y'all, you will love it. It's so much better than doing the background remover. So I really didn't like the color of this sign, but I like the design of it. So here I am just in my edit image elements trying to change the color around to the color that I liked. Now these leaves I already had saved from a previous flyer that I did for like a Jamaican theme type of situation, but I thought these would go perfectly with this safari theme invitation. So I'm adding them to the sign just to kind of like give the sign a little bit more depth and definition. Now I'm still trying to play around with this tagline for the title of the not the title of the baby shower, but still trying to play around with this heading. I like what it said. It says swinging into the jungle for a baby shower bash, but the title just wasn't giving what I needed it to give. So I kind of like moved on to some other things, and you will see that I'll come back to the title later, basically, or the heading later. So I wanted to use a sign because I really wanted to be like a safari. So I wanted to use a sign to basically tell the when and where. So I found this sign in my elements, in the Canva elements. A lot of the elements I'm using are from Canva. The only ones that are not are basically the animals. I end up finding those at free PNG. The Jeep, I found that through Google PNG, and then also the leaves. But as far as like the signage, those are in Canva elements. So right here, I'm just basically adding my dates, adding the time, and adding basically the location of the virtual baby shower, and letting people know that they will be provided with the link. Here I am doing my sizing because I like when I have 2-layer text, I like for my stuff to be close together. That's just a personal preference. And then also you will see here I'm also changing the color of the sign kind of to match a little bit of the color of the wooden sign at the top, but just to give it a little bit more oomph. So I'm playing around with that. You will also see that I'm going to group everything together. So I'm grouping the date, the time, and the location and the sign together, just because when I start to move the sign around for placement, I want to move everything at the same time. It just makes it so much easier. So here I'm adding a shadow effect to the sign just to give it more definition and a little bit more depth. So I'm playing around with that, just trying to see like which shadow I want to use. I end up using the the drop shadow. And I end up using like a brownish type of color. So with the shadows, you know, just work with it to see what you best like and what works best for what you're trying to get to come across. So with this, I kind of maneuvered it and worked it around. Not since everything is grouped, if you maneuvered it enough, your text will stay in place like where you want it to be. I did have to ungroup it to change the text that says it's on Teams. I did have to ungroup it to change that a little bit, but for the most part, the date and the time, once I arranged the shadow enough, those kind of stayed in placement. So here, I'm still trying to like figure out what with this heading, because honestly it just was not giving. So what I was gonna do was make the jungle part of the heading stick out. So I grabbed these letters out of Elements, and initially my first thought was to use the frame letters, and I was going to put like safari animal faces in the actual frame of the letters. But as I started moving them around and just looking through the different letters, I end up changed my mind, and I end up deleting those letters, and I found some other ones that I felt were more fitting. And I found these green safari letters that I thought were super, super cute. So basically I started those, grabbed each letter to spell out jungle, aligned it, made sure that they were even. Now the only thing with this is I do have a blue background, and I'm kind of like in my green space right now. So ultimately I'm probably going to end up changing that background from blue to green, but we'll see once I finish adding everything in there how it'll look with the blue. But I do think like I'm gonna end up changing it to a green background. So this, I have all my letters, so I'm getting the line, and here, just to make the letters pop a little bit more, I want to add a border. So I end up going in and adding a brownish color, like basically the color of the giraffe, the brownish color to each letter. And that just gave it a little bit more like a little bit more pop, like a slight border, nothing too much, nothing too heavy, but just something to give it just a little bit more definition. So I end up doing that for all the letters, and you will see here I'm going through each one. And so I'm not gonna lie, y'all, this invitation definitely was like, woo, Lord, because one, I had to use my iPad because my computer is getting fixed, and then I couldn't find my iPad pen. So as y'all see, I'm using my fingers. So it definitely was like giving me the flux. Not only that, but I think I might need to update Canva on my iPad, because a lot of things that it should have been doing, it just wasn't doing for me, and I didn't understand why. But anyway, so as y'all see, I have all the letters for jungle. So now I'm basically changing the heading. I took out where it says swinging into the jungle for a baby shower bash. I took that out. I just left jungle, and then underneath it'll say baby shower bash. Now here, this is one of the things where I'm saying it wasn't really doing what I wanted to do. I really wanted the leaves to kind of like look like they were intertwined into the letters. Now normally with photos you can align them and basically like decrease them to where it looks like you're erasing some of the letter. But for whatever reason with this, it wasn't doing that for me. Like basically every time it was more or less shrinking the letter rather than erasing part of the letter. So that I wouldn't spin my wheel on that part, I just basically duplicated the leaves, centered them a little better in between the N and the G, so that it just looked like it was falling onto the letters. And that actually ended up being good enough, and I liked how that turned out. Because that's one thing I know with me, and I'm sure other designers can relate. Like sometimes you would just start spinning your wheel because you're trying to get what you envision in your mind to come across like specifically, and I just didn't want to spin my wheel on this. So here I'm arranging a baby shower bash, trying to do like a little overlay, and I end up changing the fonts of this one to a cute little font. So right here, I'm just aligning them, making sure everything is behind, in front, in the middle, how it's supposed to be. And that's, yes, y'all, I'm telling y'all, I don't know. Like, using Canva on your iPad, I done use Canva on my iPad a million times, but I don't know what it was about today that it just was really giving me the flux. Like, it was crazy. I don't know if it was because I was recording or what, but yeah, it was really giving me the flux. I think I just might need to update it. So here I'm basically trying to outline the letters, and I wanted to match the green that's in the green in jungle. So I'm using my eyedropper color picker to basically match up that green. And then I'm also doing the same thing with the text with it, where it says the dates and the time and the location. I'm doing the same thing. I'm changing it to white, and then I'm outlining it green to match what it says for baby shower bash, because you want to keep some type of cohesiveness in the invitation. So for the most part, I'm using the same font. You don't want to overdo with your fonts. Like, you want to at least 2 at the max, 2 different fonts, possibly 3. So in this case, technically I'm using 3 because Jungle, that is a type of font. And then my baby shower bash and my date and time are the same font. And then once I put my wording in there, you will see that'll be a different font. So right here, I'm changing the color of the Jeep to a greenish type of hue. Now, I started typing the text that I wanted the invitation to say, but as I was typing it, I was like, you know what? I don't like that. So I really had to kind of like use my imagination, but I'm going to tell y'all my trick. I actually went over to ChatGPT and I put in there to give me some cute, unique, creative verbiage for a safari theme, baby shower, invitation, and I put who the invitation was for, who is having a baby boy, and it basically spit out a full breakdown, but I only used like parts of it, the parts that I liked. So now I'm just readjusting my elements to put the rest of the text in there, and making sure that everything is just going to fit so that nothing is overlapping, nothing is covered up. Everything will be seen. So as you see, I end up copying from ChatGPT and putting all the text at the bottom. So here's my text. It says, join us for a jungle of fun as we celebrate Gabby and her little cub on the way. So I ended up fixing that up and aligning it how I wanted it to be. I really wanted Gabby's name to stand out. So I'm going to change the color of her name. But also what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this line spacing together. I feel like it's just too much space in the lines of the text. So I'm going to bring my line spacing together. Yes, y'all, because I just like my wording like real tight and like just tight. I like my wording tight. I don't like all that spacing in between the lines. Again, like I said, that's a personal preference. You don't have to do that, but I just like when it looks better to me like that. And so, like I said, I wanted Gabby's name to stand out, so I end up changing the color of her name to match the green that's basically throughout the invitation. So again, here I go using my dropper to choose that specific green because we just wanted everything to be the same. So I did that, changed her name to green. So now I'm gonna go back to the bottom and actually grab some more text to add to the rest of it. I'm just still sizing up everything because again, I want everything to fit. I don't want anything to really like overlap. So with their virtual invitation, I know my sister told me that they're going to play like virtual games, so I still wanted to keep with the safari theme. So like it says, we'll embark on a thrilling safari with fun and virtual games and lots of laughter. So basically, I added that text. Now because this is more of a text of like what's going to be happening with the baby shower, I am going to still keep the text white because the white just shows better, but I also am going to outline it in a different color. So I'm not going to do the green this time. This time I'm going to do more of an outline using the brownish color in a giraffe. I just feel like that'll separate basically the meaning of both texts, if that makes sense. So there I go, using my dropper again, because again, I want everything to be cohesive. I want everything to be the same. So use my dropper, use the brown and the giraffe to outline that text. Make sure everything was aligned, and then you will see here I'm grabbing some more text that I had got off ChatGPT. And this one is just basically telling them that it is a surprise, and don't tell anyone, or don't tell her basically, but it is a surprise. Now I wanted that part to really be on the sign, but it was not giving what it needed to give. Like, I thought the black would show up, but it really didn't show up like I wanted it to show up. Even trying to change the font around, it still really didn't give what I needed to give. It kind of still was like dark and you really couldn't see it, and I did want it to stand out. So I maneuvered that around a little bit. I end up, instead of doing one line, I end up doing 2 lines. And I also ended up, as y'all can see, I'm trying to change the color and everything, just trying to figure out what way to make it stand out better than what it was, because it really was like getting hidden in a sense. So basically I ended up changing the font to white. I end up making this, instead of doing 1 line, I end up doing it on 2 lines. So it says shush, it's a surprise, and don't let the secret slip underneath it. Like I told you before, y'all know I like my text tight. So here I am doing the line spacing and making sure that it's close enough together how I like it. So with this, I'm also going to add a element to it. I'm actually going to outline this. I'm gonna keep it as a white because that black the black does show, but it just wasn't popping. So rather than leave it black, I'm gonna outline it, and I'm gonna outline it in white. And what I'm gonna do to make it pop a lot more is I'm just going to increase the thickness of my outline. So that's what I did. I kept increasing the thickness until it was like basically a thickness that I like, to where I feel like it really popped out like I wanted it to. So then here I'm just moving everything back up, aligning everything back how it needs to be. So right here I'm just making sure everything fits. I'm bringing in my text a little bit more, because I still have to add in there that they're wearing blue, and that they're to bring their favorite lunch. So you'll see I'm gonna go to the bottom. I'm gonna grab the other text and actually so I'm putting that in here. Basically, they're going to wear blue. They're asking everyone to wear blue, and they're asking everyone to bring their favorite lunch. So I'm putting that in here. Again, I want to make sure like my alignment is right. I want everything to kind of like flow. So with this one, I'm choosing the same, whereas I'm doing white. My text is white, but I'm also outlining it in brown. So rather than do it like from scratch, basically what I did was duplicated the previous text, and then I just changed the wording just to make it a little bit more easier. So now again, here I am aligning everything, stretching the words a little bit, because to me the animals and everything is kind of like too small. So now I need to figure out how I can still make the animals pop but not cover up my wording or my text. So here I'm aligning my line spacing again, because y'all know I like everything tight. So aligning that as good as I think it'll be, so where nothing won't be covered up when I start making things bigger. So I'm gonna go in, and like I told y'all earlier, I was going to see how that blue font was going to work. I mean, that blue background was going to work. But it really did not give what needed to be given. So I ended up changing the background to a green color. And I think I like the green better. So what I'm going to do is find an overlay that I can add to it to give it more texture. So I'm going into my Canva elements looking for an overlay to give it just a little bit more texture, to make everything just really stand out a little bit more. Now I found this spotted one that kind of put me in the mind of a safari or like animal spots, and what I'm doing is changing the color of it from black to this brownish reddish color. I'm going to take that, put it in the corner, and then I'm going to size up the whole entire page. And because I want it to be all over the page. I don't want it to be in one spot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that directly to the back behind all of my text and behind my elements, my animals. So I did that. And yes, I love that. I love that overlay. Like, the overlay is really giving. I was trying to find another overlay, but I couldn't really find what I really like to add to it. I am changing Gabby's name to a different color and making her name a little bit bigger than the text that is with. Because, again, the green kind of got lost once I changed the background to green. But so far, I'm liking how it's coming along. It's giving cute. It's giving different. This is me when I was trying to find another element to add to it. But yeah, I just was like, nah, that's enough. I feel like the element is really going to give what it needs to give. I did want a couple things to pop a little bit more. So what I ended up doing was going in and changing the colors of the leaves. And I changed the color of a couple other things. So here, I need to add a sign to the bottom to actually put Gabby's registry. So initially I was going to just do like a little box line across the bottom, but I just want to stay in cohesiveness with the safari theme. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the sign at the top, only the wooden sign only. I'm going to duplicate that wooden sign and I'm going to bring it down to the bottom. And what I'm going to do is flip it so that it's basically like upside down now. I'm gonna flip it so it's upside down, and then I'm just gonna size it to the bottom where just enough space that I need to put her registry with the link for everyone to click to be able to go to the registry. So I'm gonna size this down, size it, and then rearrange everything, because again, I don't want anything covered. Like, I want everything to stand out and have its own kind of presence as a part of the invitation. So I'm just basically maneuvering everything around so nothing, is covered up. Everything needs to have its standout points and moments. So that's basically what I'm doing here. Just making sure everything is just how I want it. And that's basically what it boils down to. Once you start adding in your text and adding your elements, just making sure everything is how it should be. So here you see I made it bigger so I could see if I was to send this off today, right now as is, this is how it would look. And as y'all see, this is how it ended up looking. So you see that I made a few changes to it, and the link is very much clickable. There you have it, a safari themed baby shower invitation. Thanks for watching, y'all. Like, comment, let me know if you have any questions. What's some things that y'all want to see me design and make, and share. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Underdog Graphics.